Okay, so welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Letting Go live session. So let's jump straight into our teaching today. There's an email with a daily quote. We'll have a look at that, and then I'll put a teaching around that. That'll lead us nicely into today's lesson, and then there's a bit of text to do as well. Okay, so if you can read the headline quote, that would be good. Yeah, if you can read that headline quote to kick it off.
Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured.
Great quote by Mark Twain. He hits the nail very accurately on the head because as Yeshua teaches us in A Course in Miracles, all attack is self-attack. And so it damages the person being angry more than anyone they are feeling angry towards. Which one is apt to forget when we get angry. It's a very, strong emotion, but actually who in that moment is experiencing the anger and that state, which is a very limited, unpleasant state. Who's experiencing it right then? You are. You're experiencing the acidic nature, the destructive nature of the anger in that moment, in your own experience. That's why it's really attacking yourself. It would seem to be self-evident, but the ego's got us very confused, and anger is a very powerful emotion. So to the ego, it feels good when we get angry, and it feels like it strengthens us, and we think it's it's not hurting us, it's hurting the other person when we get angry with them, because they seem to be another person. We've forgotten that it's actually really just a self-attack. Moreover, in today's workbook lesson, he also says that, you can read that quote.
Each of your perceptions of external reality is a pictorial representation of your own attack thoughts.
Which is quite a statement. Each of your perceptions of the so-called external reality, in quotes, is just a picture, a representation of your own attack thoughts, i.e. it's your own projection outwards of your attack thoughts. And each of your perceptions of external reality, wow. So everything that I perceive as outside of me is actually a representation of my own attack thoughts. Yes, that's what he's saying. That's how deeply entrenched attack thoughts are in your mind. That's why it's so difficult to get rid of them, because it's entrenched in our perception of an external reality. Trying to say how entrenched the anger and its related attack thoughts are in our minds, and therefore the seeming reality of our experiences in this world. So sugarcoating a world that is a projection of guilt, fear, and attack thoughts will not help you find peace while you're apparently living in the world, or escape from the world entirely, which is the stated goal of the course curriculum. Only perceiving the world as what it really is, without trying to cover over the rotten cake of this world that the ego belief in separation is baked with a veneer of ephemeral icing, and then systematically letting your belief in it go, will correct your perception of the world and take you step by step to the ultimate goal of enlightenment. So only really seeing it for what it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Be completely honest about what it is going to get you there. And that's really what I found, attractive. It's radical, but it's also relieving in A Course in Miracles, because finally there's someone who's telling it to you straight. He's not sugarcoating it and saying, well, it's kind of okay, and the ego's all right, you can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. He's not saying that at all, is he? He's saying, no, this is how it is. This is what the ego is. it's insane. It's really not a thought system that you want at all in your mind. And the only way you're gonna ever find peace and joy and happiness, which is what your heart yearns for, is to get rid of it entirely. Finally, someone's telling it to us straight. And that's what distinguishes the Course from almost every other spiritual teaching, unless it's a pure non-dual teaching like, say, Advaita Vedanta, is that it's this or that. You can't have any of it. You can't entertain any ego because it's negative, it's toxic, it's going to hurt you, it's a death wish. You don't want to maintain any of this in your mind. You've got to let it all go. So there's another recorded discussion for you, which we discussed some of the challenges that people were facing doing this was 5 years ago, 2019 Art of Letting Go course. So nothing's unusual, right? Sound familiar? Seemingly physical conditions like low energy, fatigue, headaches, back pain, stomach aches, to mental and emotional negativity, to relationship challenges arising at work and home. This is normal when you do this course. And so I just said everyone needs to have the courage and persevere through these challenges and understanding that they're an essential part of the journey of transformation. Without working through them, the necessary transformation to their higher self simply won't happen, right? The hero has to face the tests and the trials and the challenges in order to grow into the hero. That's the point. So the hero's journey is not meant to be all smooth and lovely and dandy. It's meant to really test you to the core, so that you have to go into the core of who you are in order to meet that challenge. And you discover then in that process who you are, which is the whole point of the journey. So we should really be welcoming these challenges in the understanding that they are exactly what we need to discover who we really are, which is really the only purpose of our lives. Everything that you need to wake up is being given to you in your particular journey, which is unique to you. Although we're all on the same journey, everyone has to work out their own individual journey. It's like we're all climbing the same mountain, but everyone's going to find a different way up. That's your unique individual journey of awakening, which no one else can do. It's unique to you. It's your path. It's your journey. The principles apply. You can follow the principles. You can listen to guidance. You can have teachers, guides who kind of help you on the way, but you've got to walk the path. As Morpheus said to Neo, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Okay, so I know about the hero's journey. That's one thing, but do I walk the hero's journey every day in my life? That's entirely another. And that's obviously what we're trying to do, is walk it. So, how to overcome the challenges in the hero's journey was a good session, if I recall. We sort of today's lesson. And there's another discussion where we talked about the rewards of God, which we'll do after this. But that's there for people who don't necessarily join the live call. Okay, so that takes us into where we are now in our program, which is the daily session and lesson for today. So let's go into today's lesson. We'll do a quick practice reading of this, and today's lesson is lesson 23. So if you can read that in the original and alternative, Len.
Yeah. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I can escape from the world I perceive by letting go of attack thoughts.
Yeah, it's quite a statement. We have what I see as a world of vengeance, but he doesn't just leave us there. He says, I can escape from this world by letting go of attack thoughts. So I'm in the prison of my own mind and looking outside and go, how do I get out of this mental prison that I've got myself into? Let go of your attack thoughts, right? Start there. Because if you let go of the attack, it's because attack is symptomatic of the ego's whole thought system, then you must start letting go of the rest of it. So if we look at our diagram again, where we descend into hell, it's demonstrated here. So the attack on others, accusation, blame, and attack comes out of the thought system of guilt and sin and fear. So if you start letting go of the attack, you're also undermining the foundation for attack, which is fear, guilt, and sin. So what you do then is you start tracking it back and you start questioning and ultimately undoing these beliefs as you stop those behaviors. But if you keep projecting your anger outwards, which is really just guilt being projected outwards, then the guilt just keeps being reinforced. And the guilt leads to fear, and the fear leads to attack. And the more you attack, the guiltier you feel, and you just get caught up in that cycle. So saying, how do you break the cycle? Well, stop your attack thoughts. Stop the accusation and the blame and the attack thoughts. Take it back, realize that it's really just you're attacking. Let those go, and then you start undoing the guilt and the sin and the fear which underpin them. And then you start climbing back up the ladder that you came down into an awareness that really it's just a tiny mad idea of separation that underlies the guilt and the sin. And so you go up the ladder, back up the ladder you climb down until you get to the top where it all began, the tiny mad idea of separation, and you correct it at that level. And you realize that that was just a false idea. It was a very bad choice. You don't want it anymore. And you let it go. All that remains then is pure formless awareness and perfect love. So that's the process and the methodology of this. All right. So if you can just, let's have a look at these diagrams, which illustrated quite well. So the cause, my anger, attack thoughts, the effect is I have a dream of being attacked, so I project it out. And anger is really part of this thought system of actually punishment, right? So because I expect punishment, I fear it, I project my guilt and my sin out, but actually I'm playing to the fear. I'm actually creating that which I fear, which is that I'll be attacked and judged and condemned. So it just reinforces this false expectation of punishment appearing real, which is what the person who drew the diagrams is trying to communicate. So all of this is false, the breaking news of the world, the dream of vengeance and hatred, the attack thoughts. It's just a product of your own thought system projected out. And the truth, who you really are, is kind of split off, and there's there's a kind of a barrier here, as he shows. And it can't penetrate through the attack thoughts and this whole construct unless you start letting them go. As soon as you start letting them go, you start erasing this barrier, and the light starts shining through into your mind and into your dream world. And then he says about, this dream of the world, is it not, do you want to read that? Is it not joyous news?
Is it not joyous news to hear that it is not real? It is not a happy discovery to find that you can escape. In this lesson, we practice this escape. We look around and realize that we are not seeing objective reality. We are seeing our own anger staring back at us.
So that's what's symbolized there. The events of the world symbolize our anger, and they in the mirror in which we see this guilty, sinful, fearful, angry self that we've created. And it seems like it's, that we're being attacked from outside of us, but actually it's our own thoughts that are attacking us. And that's what we have to realize. When we start realizing that, then we start letting go and we start allowing the light to shine in. So actually, it doesn't matter what someone's done, they're still sinless, they're innocent, irrespective of their behavior. So I have an intention now for love, and then that starts removing the roles that I've assigned to people, letting go of all the attack. I start having a happy dream, kindness, forgiveness, love, make the decision for God, and then this starts shining into my life. The light, which I'd blocked out, starts coming in. So time then becomes a means for learning forgiveness or letting go. That's the only purpose of time. I realize that my safety lies in God. I have peace, and this is the real world. It's still, part of the illusion. It's not pure formless awareness of perfect love yet, but the pure formless awareness of perfect love is shining into it and is correcting my misperceptions. So it's a happy dream or forgiving dream, where I have the desire to be the same as my brothers and sisters, desire to see my brothers sinless, the will to heal, the vow to join. There is no gap between my mind and yours, and the power of wanting healing. And so you change your mind, you change your fundamental intent about what you want to see, and then your perception shifts. That's the whole message of A Course in Miracles. You can change your mind, and then you start seeing differently. You start perceiving everything differently from the perspective of oneness and a desire for love and to let go of everything else. There's another diagram here, the unreal world. So again, it's symbolized quite well. You've got the nasty gremlins waiting to get you. You've got a world that seems to be very cruel, symbolized by a Venus flytrap, that eats things alive. You'll die. My brother's loss is my gain, so very competitive. I'm trying to get ahead. You're trying to get more than your brother. The world of competition and personal gain, and then this idea that you're going to be got. The ego's going to get to you at some point and attack you. If you read that quote from the Course at the bottom there, only happy sights and sounds.
Only happy sights and sounds can reach the mind that has forgiven itself. What need has such a mind for thoughts of death, attack, and murder? What can it perceive surrounding it but safety, love, and joy?
And when he states it like that, what need do you really have for thoughts of death, attack, and murder? It's kind of shocking, but he has to shock us. Yeah, well, if I'm attacking anyone, even a minor irritation, that's really an intense rage being covered over, and there's an intent to murder them. It's kind of shocking. Okay, so we all just, closet murderers. We don't actually do it, most people, because there's enough self-control not to. But in our thoughts, we want to. Any anger is really saying, well, I want to kill you. Or is that really what you want to be? Is that really, are those really the thoughts you want? Surely not. Surely safety, love, and joy would be a better choice. But we have to see the ego's dark thought system first before we can make a choice and change it. And that self-revealing process where you realize, yeah, my mind is filled with thoughts of death, attack, and murder. It can be very uncomfortable and shocking. When I realized this, I had literally a thought of murder, of killing someone in that moment. I was shocked. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I never thought I was capable of that. But when you get triggered and you get pushed, which I was, to the extreme, then this is what pops out. And that's, you know, that's the whole point of your journey, is to pop those unconscious beliefs out so you can be consciously aware of them, and then you can process them and deal with them. Before that incident, I had no idea. You know, you think oh, I don't have thoughts of murder. Oh, I'm not a murderer, but like actually we are, if we believe in the ego, you know, we all actually believe that we're murderers, that we could kill others and we could kill ourselves, which is why condemning anyone who's actually done it is meaningless, because you've thought of doing it. The difference is they just did it. You had enough self-control not to. Fortunately, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I'd be in prison. But I can see how it can happen. You know, in the moment, someone gets triggered, they don't have enough emotional control to say no. Like, just don't act on that impulse. They act on it, they do the deed, and then too late. You've done it. There's no undoing it. You've killed someone, and then you have to, you know, pay the price for the rest of your life. So one moment of rage can destroy your life. And I was like, oh my God, that's shocking. You know, and you start getting scared because you're not don't trust yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. Hi, Len.
Oh, hi, John. Hi, John.
Yeah, welcome. So we're just doing the text quickly for today. So yeah, so that's the diagram, the real world. So John, maybe read that. Only happy sights and sounds can reach the mind that has forgiven itself.
Only happy sights and sounds can reach the mind that has forgiven itself. What needs such a mind for thoughts of death? What need such a mind? What need has such a mind for thoughts of death, attack, and murder? What can it perceive surrounding it but safety, love, and joy?
So this is the real world where we perceive things differently. So if there's any apparent threat, like these gremlins, you see that they're caught in error, helpless, but be careful of our fangs. We can't control them. Instead of condemning them, people who are trying to hurt you, you see that they really are just confused and they're asking actually for mercy and release. Instead of seeing that you can triumph over your brother, you say, my brother's gain is my gain. Travel light will be there when you need us. So instead of being obsessed with money and possessions, you go, well, whatever you need will be given to you as and when you need it on the journey. The idea for today, just because you just joined us, is I can escape from the world I see or perceive by letting go of attack thoughts, giving up or letting go of attack thoughts. Okay, so if you can read paragraph 1, John.
The idea for today contains the only way out of fear that will ever succeed. Nothing else will work. Everything else is meaningless. But this way cannot fail. Every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. It is with your thoughts, then, that we must work, if your perception of the world is to be changed.
Okay, any thoughts on that?
Well, it's just emphasizing the power of right-mindedness, and things can only work out positively when we are aligned with our true self.
Yeah, every thought is important. So we must confront our attack thoughts and let them go. Now, one attack thought is at the top. It's like the tip of the iceberg of the whole thought system. Sticks out, that's 10%. That little attack thought, that irritation, anger, frustration, whatever it is the tip of the iceberg, which sits below the surface in your subconscious mind, of the ego's belief in separation and the guilt and the fear and the sin and the the anger that comes. So he's saying, well, okay, if it comes into awareness in the tip of the iceberg, you can actually start undoing the base of it, the foundation of it, by undoing these attack thoughts. That's why he says, you can escape from the world by giving up these attack thoughts, because you start undoing the foundation of the ego's thought system whenever you give up an attack thought. Okay. So number 2, Elaine, the cause of the world you see or perceive is attack thoughts.
If the cause of the world you perceive is attack thoughts, you must learn that it is these thoughts which you do not want. There is no point in laminating the world. There is no...
No, not you said
What?
laminating the what?
Oh, laminate.
Lamenting. Yeah. It sounded like you said
lamenting.
laminate.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Lamenting the world. Yeah.
Lamenting
In other
the
words,
world.
it's terrible and it's awful and it's so sad and all of that drama. No point in that.
There is no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because it is merely an effect. But there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. Here you are changing the cause. The effect will change automatically.
Okay.
Well, the cause of the world that we see is our attack thoughts. We have to learn that these thoughts are thoughts we don't want. So there's no point trying to change this world because it's incapable of change. But there is a good reason to change our thoughts about the world. Because then you're changing the cause, and then the effect will change automatically.
Wow.
Yeah, could I just ask where this is from, this text?
This is the lesson.
Yeah.
Today's lesson, yeah. Lesson 23.
Yep.
So he's getting us to go into causation. So look at the cause, which is internal. The cause of the world you see as attack thoughts. You need to go into the thoughts and correct them there. There's no point trying to fix it here, which is pointless because you keep creating the same thing. Look at, if you look at human history, we just keep doing the same thing. There's always attack. There's always a war going on somewhere, this because the thought system of guilt, sin, fear, and attack has not been corrected. So then the external world just keeps mirroring it. So saying, let's go internally and fix it there where the problem is in the mind, which is what this is all about, this mind training. There is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. He says, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. Yeah, you're changing the cause. The effect will change automatically. So saying you change this, which is primary reality, then the effects in your life will start to change automatically, because this external world is effect, not cause. The ego tells you that it's cause and not effect because it's turned it all around. But this is the effect of the thought system that you believe in. And so your life is just a projection of that thought system. The only way of correcting it is to change the thought system. If you accept this premise, that's why, we study the metaphysics, because you have to fundamentally then accept that, yes, actually the cause of the external world, my experience in the world, is my thoughts and my thought system. My thoughts are not caused by the external world. My thoughts cause the external world. Yeah, so it's cause and effect. Getting that clear, and that's the only way we ever going to change anything. Saying don't seek to change the world because it's pointless. It's just an effect. Seek to change the cause of it, which is in your mind. All right. So number 3, John, if you can read that. the world you see or perceive.
The world you see, perceive is a vengeful world, and everything in it is a symbol of vengeance. Each of your perceptions of external reality is a pictorial representation of your own attack thoughts. One can well ask if this can be called seeing. Is not fantasy a better word for such a process, and hallucination a more appropriate term for the result? I did struggle with this one actually a bit, because the world you see is a vengeful world, and everything in it is a symbol of vengeance. But what about the beautiful things that we see in the world, the kind things, the acts of love? They're not vengeful, are they?
No, but remember, he's meeting us. What he's trying to show us here is our current dysfunctional perception.
Okay.
He's saying, look, this is where you are, and meeting us where we are, then you can transform it. Ultimately, he's saying to us, if you apply this teaching and forgiveness or letting go, then you won't see the world in this way anymore. It will be a happy dream. You will live in the real world, have a happy dream, and because you've dropped the attack thoughts and you've dropped the guilt and the sin and the fear and the attack that permeate the world, as is symbolized in the diagrams. The real world is shining with light, and even if people make mistakes, you don't perceive them as sins and you don't condemn them. And here it's shown in a different way. It's finding the light in the dream, understanding the dream still isn't real, but it's a much happier dream. You're living now in the real world in a happier dream, which is a necessary correction in order to go back eventually to heaven. You don't just go to heaven. It's like you start correcting your perception of the world and seeing the light shine through. So it's all about your stage of development. Remember, we lesson 23, he's assuming that you're doing the course for the first time. If you get to lesson 23 and you've never done much mind training before, then the world you perceive is very likely to be a vengeful world. And your perceptions of external reality are a representation of your own attack thoughts. He's trying to highlight this to make us realize, well, this is how my default perception, the ego, works.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Is the seeing? Is it really seeing, or is it just a fantasy? Are you hallucination? Are you just hallucinating? More appropriate term for the result. So he's trying to get us through these quite strong words to really kind of wake up and realize what we're in. Okay, actually, so the whole world is my projection. And it's a projection of a thought system of guilt, sin, fear, and attack. So the whole world is just a pictorial representation of my attack thoughts. Wow, okay, that's pretty intense. But once I accept that, then I can start changing it, changing my mind about it. Start letting go of those attack thoughts, and then the world changes accordingly. As he's saying, the only way to change the world is to change your thoughts about it. So he's not saying that this is the ultimate outcome. No, he's just saying this is where you are currently, and let's look at it. So you're clear on where you are, what the ego does, and then you can go from there and start letting it go and transforming it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It meets us where we are. He's not assuming we're already enlightened.
No.
Assuming we're unenlightened and asleep, which is largely correct. If you've done this work for a long time and this is the 10th time you're reading this lesson, then yeah, you're probably not entirely the case. But it's always useful to go back to square one and go, okay, well, let's start as though I'm a beginner and really look again. No, don't just go, oh, I've got all this stuff. Go, no, actually, maybe there's still a point. I still do see a vengeful world at times. I'm still prone to attack thoughts at times. So, some of this is still true, maybe not all the time, but it's still true enough to warrant looking at and then a correction. All right, then number 4.
You perceive the world that you have made, but you do not see yourself as the image maker. You cannot be saved from the world, but you can escape from its cause. This is what salvation means, for where is the world you perceive, when its cause is gone? Vision already holds a replacement for everything you think you perceive now. Loveliness can light your images and so transform them that you will love them, even though they were made of hate, for you will not be making them alone.
Yeah. So this is the correction. He never leaves us in ego, does he? He always takes us into, okay, well, this is the alternative. Vision holds a replacement for all these images. Loveliness can light your
Yes,
images.
it's a great thought, actually. Yeah.
So he doesn't leave us there. He just says, okay, well, let's look and be honest about where you are, but this is what's possible. As is quite nicely shown in these diagrams, the light shines through and you start to see the loveliness, the inherent loveliness of everyone and everything, because it's all coming from source, which is lovely by nature. But you have to have corrected your mind to see that loveliness. So even though they were made of hate, he makes the point. Right? So the reason the world was made was because of separation and then guilt and sin and fear and attack and hatred. Yes, that was the original cause of the world. But even though that happened, then we can correct it and we can actually allow the light to come through and reinterpret those images that were made of hate, which is what the miracle is all about. Which means that thought system of hatred that made the world is not the most powerful thought system. The light that preceded is more powerful if you allow it to be and you allow it to come in and transform your perception in this way, where you'll not be making them alone anymore. Right? So the images are now inspired. Your perception is inspired by the Holy Spirit. So you're not alone. Your true self and the Holy Spirit are guiding you in this journey. And you realize you're on the same journey as all of your companions. So you're not alone there either, because everyone's on the same journey of correcting their mind, transforming their perceptions. All right, so number 5.
The idea for today introduced the thought that you are not trapped in the world you see or perceive, because its cause can be changed. This change requires first that the cause be identified and then let go, so that it can be replaced. The first 2 steps in this process require your cooperation. The final one does not. Your images have already been replaced. By taking the first 2 steps, you will see that this is so. So acknowledge and let go.
Yeah, just a simple 2-step process. I'm aware of it. I bring it into awareness, and then I make a choice to let it go. Cause be identified. 2nd step, let go. 3rd step, it can be replaced. He's saying, well, we don't have to worry about that. If you let go, what will replace the old perception will come from spirit. And that starts to happen automatically. That loveliness and peace and happiness and joy starts to come, because that's what underlies all of your bad dreams.
I had an interesting little thing the other day, actually, where I had a conflict going on with
Mm-hmm.
with 3 friends of mine, and And I was getting very irritated by the whole thing. And
Mm.
I did that 10-step process on it, and I felt much better, but I could still feel a bit of niggle
Mm.
for about 24 hours after
Yeah.
I'd done this 10-step. And then I went to bed, and I kind of woke up during the night actually, and I had such clarity. I
Mm.
just completely moved to a different place.
Mm.
Um, it was interesting because I did the 10-step and it felt much better. It felt 95% clear, but wasn't quite clear. And it seemed
Mm.
it that 10% just had to hang on for another few hours
Yeah. And then
till,
it ends in the middle of the night.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, that's sometimes how it works. You just never know when when it's going to happen, and get insight and awakening at any point. Often, like after a process like that. So, well done for doing it. You sat down, you did it, you went through it, you let it go, and it's like, okay, you've cleared a lot, and then it's like, okay, well, a residual after effect, like a little aftershock of that comes later to show you that, or to help you to let it go. It's also a sign that you're being assisted, isn't it? A lot of help and guidance.
well, during the
Yeah.
20, whilst it was still hanging around, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to go through this process again.
Mm,
And then I didn't actually. It, it,
mm.
it
Just
could
left.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a bit of, grace and help if you're willing. I think, it's the willingness on your part, and then the spirit can help you. So when you do a process like that, you say, yeah, I'm willing to let it go.
Yeah.
And I'll spend the time doing it. So, what it says, well done, because that's a discipline to sit down. Do you do it as written, or do you just go through it in your mind?
I have to do it as written. I have to.
Yeah. 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 Because it makes you go through the process, and you have to write it down, and you have to
Yeah.
process through, which is what a
That,
process is. Yeah.
and for me, I have to see it written down.
Mm,
Just going through it mentally
mm,
is doesn't do it.
mm, mm. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. Very good. Very good. Yay. Whenever there's a miracle, we'll do that. Because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was a little miracle you just described. So deserves some celebration. All right. So any other thoughts, comments, or questions on this lesson? It's fairly straightforward, but it's very powerful. He's saying, let's start with letting go of your attack thoughts.
Yeah.
That starts to unwind the ego's whole thought system. It's the tip of the iceberg. But you start getting into the iceberg, the 90% that's subconscious, under the water, by starting with the 10% of attack thoughts that you're aware of. You have to then start deconstructing the guilt, the sin, and fear that underlies it. So let's start there. And you can, okay, every attack thought, I'm going to watch my mind like a hawk. I'm going to be really vigilant. And when I notice one, I'm gonna correct it and let it go. That's what he's asking us to do. So let's practice that, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do a 10 or 15-minute meditation on this. It's open eye, but we'll do a bit of closed eye as well. Because it's always internal and external, these things. So just making yourself comfortable. So sitting feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Up your hands on your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up your spine, into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart, connect with your heart space. Draw the energy up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale, smile. And scan your mind and search your mind for as many attack thoughts as occur to you. So that could be any irritation that's currently going on in your life, any frustration with anyone or anything, irritation, annoyance, outright anger, resentment. Notice these are all attack thoughts. And as each one crosses your mind, breathe into it and say, I can escape from the world I see or perceive by giving up attack thoughts about whatever it is, whoever it is. Hold each attack thought in mind as you say this, and then dismiss that thought so you can breathe out to help you do that. Exhale, have a sense of letting it go, blowing it out. With the breeze of your breath, to the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. From the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And I just rest here in this deep peace and stillness. For a few moments. Scan your mind again, breathing in. Include both your thoughts of attacking and of being attacked. And so someone is seemingly attacking you. You feel like you're the victim in the situation, you're unfairly treated. That is an attack thought. Acknowledge it. It just says the effects are exactly the same because they are exactly the same. Just two sides of the same coin. You don't recognize this as yet. You're asked at this point only to treat them as the same. It says we're still at the stage of identifying the cause of the world you see. When you finally learn that thoughts of attack and of being attacked are not different, you'll be ready to let the cause go. So the cause is not outside of you at all. The cause is internal. When you realize that, then finally you'll be ready to let the cause go. That's the process. So let's do a little bit more mind watching, breathing in, scanning your mind again, and notice any attack kind of thoughts. A fear thought is also an attack thought. So any anxiety, any fear, any stress, worry, so on. It's really just an attack on yourself. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. So now you're just going to release all of this. Breathe in again. Imagine you breathing in the light of your source, pure formless awareness, perfect love that shines through. Notice any of these thoughts that are still lurking around. You acknowledge them. Be willing to let them go, knowing that these are the tip of the iceberg. Beneath these is thought system separation. There's guilt and sin, and that separation. There's fear of punishment, and the attack thought comes from all of that. feel guilty and sinful. What can you expect but attack? So look at that one last time. Realize that this is all false. The idea of separation being a separate self, the guilt and sin, the fear that it's engendered. Exhale, just blow it out. Breathe with your breath. Follow the stomach into the spine. Follow the remaining air out. And just rest in peace and stillness. A few moments. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, and nothing else to think about. Just breathe in and out through your nose. Observe the breath. Flowing in and flowing out, and just go into a quiet, calm, peaceful place. Autonomous place beyond attack thoughts. As the simple truth. Who you really are. And sink into that peaceful place beyond attack, beyond this whole thought system of the ego, all these pure forms as perfect love. So you give yourself the opportunity just to be in that state of pure formless awareness, which is heaven. Give yourself a taste of that, a glimpse of that. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do. Just observe the breath. Let the breath take you deeper and deeper with each breath into this state of pure formless awareness. Or perfect love. Your true self, your true nature. You come to know experientially in and through this practice. So just sit in deep quiet and silence for the next couple of minutes. If any thoughts come up that seem to disturb your peace, then just observe those. Any attack thoughts again, observe them. Remind yourself I can escape from the world and giving up these attack thoughts, so I choose to let them go now. Just breathe them in, let them go, release them. Going, gone. In the mouth like dark cloud or black smoke out of your mouth. And the stomach into the spine. Small of remaining air out. And for another minute or two, just enjoy the peace, love that Yeshua points to when it says, vision already holds a replacement for everything you think you see, perceive. Awareness can light your images and so transform them that you will love them, even though they were made of hate, where you'll not be making them alone. So give yourself this experience for another minute or so of deep, peaceful silence. Yeah, so just coming back gently to an awareness of the body and the breath, senses in the world. And on the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale, smile. Scan your mind. So, okay, notice any thoughts, particularly attack thoughts going on. You still notice any scraps of irritation, frustration, anger in any form, fear. It's another attack thought. Just breathe in. Thoughts of attacking and being attacked are not different. They're the same. Breathe in to them and breathing in the light of your true awareness, in which those attack thoughts just dissipate. Remind yourself that I can escape from the world I perceive by giving up attack thoughts about whoever or whatever it is. Exhale on the truth of that to help you let go. Imagine you blowing out any dark energy, the black smoke leaving you. It's gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here in peace and stillness. In a few moments. So notice on the count of 2, the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Smell in your nose, notice that. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. Not illusions, state of mind in which only the truth is true. Anchor that state in. Remind yourself that this is the state of letting go of attack thoughts leads to you can escape. Say one more time, I can escape from the world I see and perceive by giving up attack thoughts entirely, once and for all. And so it is. So on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a moment to look around, a minute just to anchor yourself back into this world. Notice any object that happens to be in your sight that you're looking at. Notice how clear and calm you feel, how light. It's what letting go of attack thoughts brings in, the light that then, as he said, lights your images. Loveliness can light your images and so transform them that you will love them, even though they were made of hate. But you'll not be making them alone. So as you perceive now, from this enlightened perspective of the Holy Spirit, can you see the loveliness that lights your images, the underlying truth, the underlying awareness lies in your mind. Can you see and feel and experience that? And as you look at whatever happens to be there, can you see that it's all the same, that this loveliness lights all of your images, because what is true is the loveliness, which is this deeper awareness, and the images are seen and perceived in that light of the loveliness or not. If you deny the light is there in your own mind, then you can't see it in the images. The images take on a dark, separated quality. So as within, so without. That's the key message of this lesson. Change your mind within, said, and then the external world will change. So he says there's indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world, because here you're changing the cause. Effect will change automatically. Okay, so set yourself into that nice light connected state, and to stay there you can use the lesson in its shorter form. I've sent you a breath break to practice it, or the longer form that I sent you this morning, or this recording which I'm posting to the group very shortly when I finish it. So practice well, and it'll help you stay in this nice in the real world, this place where loveliness lights your images. So transformative that you will love them, even though they were made of hate, as is shown quite nicely visually in these diagrams, which are included in your email and Telegram message. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meditation and the practice of the lesson. So I'm just looking at the time. I have an MOT appointment in just over half an hour. So I could do 20 minutes of text, or which we won't get through all of it, or we could defer that to tonight. It'd have to be later tonight after 8, probably, if you want to do that. Elaine, John, how do you feel?
Well, I don't mind 8 o'clock if I've got some help.
Okay. Well, ask John nicely. John, are you up for doing it later? Don't know where John is.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. So let's let's start it at 8, 8:30. What works better?
8 for me. I prefer earlier.
Yeah, I won't be able to get there till 8:30ish, but get started, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we start at 8 or 8 earlier, eh? Can you
8?
manage?
Yeah, 8, and then John can help me after that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll see you later.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, see you later. Right, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you to for this session. Thank you to Elaine and John for joining, making the session possible as always. Otherwise it would just be a monologue. It's really about the interaction and discussion. So if you enjoyed the session, you can do a few things to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. I stream it live 6 days a week, so you'll be notified when I go live via YouTube on your phone or device. You can also join us for our next masterclass. Go to theaolg.com. That's theaolg.com to find out more about that and register for the next masterclass coming soon, where I talk about this course, the program, how you can get involved in studying A Course in Miracles on quite a deep level, assisted by the Art of Letting Go program. So go to theaolg.com to sign up to that and register completely free. You'll get some nice bonuses, meditations, and so on, and a 3-week free trial of the Art of Letting Go course or program. And then finally, if you want to get some free information that I shared daily quote, some teachings around that, my own kind of blog post on that, and the daily lesson and a short rest break or mini meditation to help you practice the lesson, then go to lifebuild.com. It's LIFEBUILD.com, and that will get you signed up to the Telegram group, so you'll receive all of that again free of charge. You just need to have a mobile phone and download the Telegram app. Okay, so thank you for watching or listening, and I hope to catch you on the inside soon. Namaste, which means the peaceful self in me acknowledges and honors that same peaceful self.